Explore Somerset with Escape to the Country in 45 minutes. First on BBC One, a little knowledge goes a long way.
Meet our think tank. They've answered hundreds of general knowledge questions under exam conditions before the show. Their answers are in, but how helpful will they be to the three contestants? Playing the game are Rena, a recruitment consultant from Northwest London, Yvonne, a retired math teacher from Nuneaton, and Andy, an occupational therapy assistant from Cheshire. This is Think Tank. Welcome to the show. Welcome as ever to our think tank, our panel that represents all four corners of the United Kingdom. We have our Scottish creative director, Mark, former engineer and proud Welshman, Len, Northern Irish makeup artist, Jordan, and others hailing from London to Leeds. So between them, at least they should have their geography questions covered.
Yeah.
Lovely to see all three of you here. Rena, have you done a lot of research to come on the programme?
I like reading books and watching a few films, so mainly Harry Potter, to be honest. I think that would be one of my favourite subjects.
What are your other passions?
I go to the gym. I like spinning 5 times a week. I'm more stable on a stationary bike than a moving bike, so...
I've not tried it myself, but when I've heard those spinning classes, they don't seem very relaxing. They seem
They're
to
quite
wind
intense.
up.
They are quite intense, but once you get in the groove of things, it's a good laugh.
Rena, lovely to have you with us. Yvonne, you were a maths teacher. Now that you're retired, what do you do?
I do a lot of voluntary work. I drive a 72-foot narrowboat for the disabled, which was built from HMS Coventry by apprentices.
That takes a lot of parking, doesn't it, 72 feet?
I can't do it. I can't do parallel parking in a car, never mind a 72-foot narrowboat.
So what do you do?
I hand it over to the boys.
OK. A lot of people like films as their best subject. Would that be good for you?
I certainly like films, and there's certain films that I like more than others.
Which ones are they?
Well, of course, there would be one called Monsters. There would be one called Godzilla.
Really? Why is that?
Because my son has directed them.
Ah, how marvellous.
Yeah.
Your son's really a film director of big movies, is he?
He certainly is, Bill. Yes, Gareth Edwards.
Does he take you to all the openings, the premieres?
Of course he does, yes.
Oh, that's something, isn't it? Walking up the red carpet?
It certainly is. That was amazing. Yes, being on the red carpet and everybody wondering, who's she?
They'll know now. They'll know now after you've been on Think Tank.
Yeah.
Lovely to have you with us, Yvonne. And Andy, you're an
Hi, Bill.
occupational therapy assistant, so who do you help?
People living in their own homes who've got a health condition or disability.
What's your big passion in life?
Movies. I'm obsessed with films in a nerdy way.
Just how nerdy?
So I make a big long list at the end of the year to say which films are the best, in my opinion.
How long is it? What, top 10 sort of thing?
Top 100, usually.
Top
So I try
100?
to watch 100 films from each year.
You got any time for anything else in your life?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time with my family. I've got children, and we all love the Chuckle Brothers.
To me, to you.
To meet, yeah,
To me, to you.
to you.
We've got a pair of Chuckle Brothers here, actually. Len and Ken. So obviously, film's going to be your best
Yeah,
subject.
definitely.
All right, and what do you need help on?
Flags.
I think Armanel's good at flags, aren't you, Armanel?
Yes, I have 4 sons, and we have an excellent flags game, which is brilliant for learning the flags of
Right.
the world. Plus, you get an extra mark if you can get the capital of that country right.
But if you had Mark with you, you'd get all the capitals right, because Mark's very good at geography, aren't you, Mark?
Yeah,
So maybe we could team up.
we
Yeah.
could. I'm looking forward to my invite to dinner and flag game.
OK, great to have you all with us. Welcome to the programme. Now, over 3 rounds, our contestants will try to tap into the knowledge of the think tank to build up as much money as possible. Don't forget, they have tried to answer all the questions to the best of their ability, whether right or wrong. The 2 highest scorers go through to the final. Ultimately, just one will walk away with the cash prize. So let's play the first round. In this round, I'm going to ask you a question, then every member of the think tank will reveal the answer that they gave before the show. Correct answer's always there somewhere, but also any number of mistakes in the mix. Pick out the right answer and £200 will be added to your prize fund. You get 2 questions each. Rena, you're up first, so here is the question we put to the think tank. What is the English equivalent of the Spanish dessert called arroz con leche? What did the think tank serve up for this? Armanel.
Rice pudding.
Milk pudding.
Eton mess.
Spotted dick.
Rice pudding.
Rice pudding.
Apple crumble.
Strawberries and cream.
Well, a very tasty selection, Rena. Which one would you choose?
My travels have actually taken me to Argentina, so I've heard of something called dulce de leche, which is like a caramel syrup, and I'm thinking maybe that could be something creamy. I'm gonna go with rice pudding, please.
Rice pudding. What is the English equivalent to the Spanish dessert called arroz con leche? You're saying it's rice pudding. Have you chosen correctly? You have indeed. Well done. Rice pudding it is. And it literally means rice with milk. Bang on the money there. £200 for you, Rena. Yvonne, we come to you for your first question. Here we go. In Peter Pan, what is Captain Hook's first name? Let's see what the think tank thought on this one.
James.
Edward.
Captain.
Clifford.
John.
Left.
James.
James.
3 for James and a couple of other interesting selections there, Yvonne.
Right, Bill, well, I don't think I'm going to go for Captain, Clifford, John or Left. The ones I'm being drawn to is James and Edward, because my son's middle name is James and his surname is Edward, so it's got to be one of those two. And I think I'm going to go for James.
James is your answer. In Peter Pan, what is Captain Hook's first name? Is it James? It is. Well done. Lost his hand, Captain Hook, of course, to a crocodile.
Yes.
Ken, interesting. I see where you're going now with that one.
Oh.
Left.
Well, I thought it was either left or his brother right.
From the uppercut family. All right. OK, well done to you, Yvonne. £200 for your prize fund. Andy, here's your first question. In a 2016 poll by the BBC, who was named as the nation's favourite sports commentator? Where did the think tank go with this?
Claire Balding.
Bill McLaren.
Bill Turnbull.
Gary Lineker.
Claire Balding.
Gary Lineker.
Murray Walker.
John Motson.
Some choices more likely than others there, Andy.
Yeah. I don't think it's you, Bill, because as far as I know, I don't think you've been a sports
You
commentator.
know how to wound a man.
I narrowed it down in my head between Claire Balding and Gary Lineker, just because those are the two I know. I'm going to go with Gary Lineker, though.
Gary Lineker's your answer. In a 2016 poll by the BBC, who was named as the nation's favourite sports commentator, was it Gary Lineker? It was John Motson.
Wow.
Nice.
John Motson.
Well done,
I
Cleve.
should listen to Cleve, shouldn't I? Yeah.
And he's been commentating on football since the early 1970s. Yeah. Anisha,
Yes, Bill.
on the money in a certain respect, because I have done football commentary. I commentate on the Wycombe Wanderers
Okay.
home games, yeah, but not very well.
I'm sure you do. You just don't give yourself enough
No, honestly, what happens is I say, it's a goal, Smith has scored, right? And then, fortunately, I've got a very good co-commentator who says, well, excellent work by Jones to put it in the back of the net without telling me that I've got it stupidly wrong. So, anyway, all right. Andy, nothing for you there, but plenty of other chances to come. And Rena, we come back to you for your second question. Complete the title of Public Enemy's 1988 UK Top 20 single, Don't Believe. Where did the think tank go with that one? Armanel?
Me.
The Hype.
The Hype.
In Love.
The Hype.
In Me.
In Me.
The Hype.
Well, the Hype gets half of the think tank's opinions there, but there are some others there as well.
This was a little bit before my time. I was actually born in '88, so you can't blame me for not knowing. I think the Hype has got a lot of people rooting for it, and with Cleve being the musician that he is, I think I'm going to put my backing in the Hype.
The Hype, OK. Complete the title of Public Enemy's 1988 UK Top 20 single, Don't Believe. The Hype, is it? Let's see. The Hype is correct.
Yes.
Len, rather unromantic answer. Don't believe in love.
I am a romantic person at heart, but I just thought when the name went Public Enemy, I thought,
What's the most romantic thing you've ever done?
coming home one evening from up with the boys, And my wife was sat across the other side of the street. We lived in the same street, and I went across to talk to her. And that's when it all started.
Really?
That's how the spark started.
You walked across the street,
In the same...
and that's the most romantic thing you've ever done.
It was the cheapest thing I'd ever done.
Well, you're lucky she didn't cross the street the other way. OK. Well done, Rena. £200 for you. Yvonne, your second question coming up.
Thank you.
How many sides does an icosagon have? What have the think tank made of that one? Armanel.
20.
2.
11.
3.
20.
6.
11.
12.
Well, you're good at maths.
I'd like to say that obviously it's not going to be 2, Mark. I don't know of any shape that has 2 sides, unless you'd like to enlighten me.
It was a long day.
So I'm going to go for 20.
20, you say?
Yes.
How many sides does an icosagon have? Your answer's 20. Have you counted up the right total? 20 it is. Well done. John and Armanel got it right. Armanel, of course, as a teacher, you'd kind of be expected to get it right. Do you feel extra pressure now that you're here in the think tank?
Well, on something like that, yes, I do. But actually, I got it right because there's a chemical called icosane, and I know that's 20.
Gosh, that's brilliant. Jordan, how did you know that?
Well, my brother and I used to have this computer game where you had to catch fish, and it told you what all the different fish were called, like what shape they were. So if they had 6 sides, they were hexagon fish. My brother and I then got interested in the side numbers of different shapes, and we looked it up when we were like 8 years old. Cool child.
Excellent. Hey, but it's paid off. Useful
Stuck in
knowledge.
my head.
Stuck in your head. Well done. Okay. £200 for you, Yvonne. And Andy, we come to you for your second question. Which Italian city, the capital of the Campania region, claims to be the birthplace of the pizza? What have the think tank served up for this one? Armanel.
Naples.
Naples.
Sicily.
Milan.
Milan.
Naples.
Florence.
Naples.
So half of the think tank's pizza going to Naples, but there are some other choices to be made as well.
Yeah, I have no idea myself. So I'm just looking at who might eat the most pizzas. I'll just go with the majority again on Naples.
Naples. Which Italian city, the capital of the Campania region, claims to be the birthplace of the pizza? You're saying Naples. Let's see if you're right. You are indeed. Naples is correct. And legend has it that the margherita pizza was originally invented because of the visit of an Italian queen, Margherita. £200 for you, Andy. That brings us to the end of the first round, so let's see how you're all getting on. Andy has £200, but in the lead and tied on £400 are Rena and Yvonne. That could all change in our next round. Every member of the think tank is holding 2 questions which they answered correctly before the show. So you're going to take it in turns to pick someone from the tank whose knowledge you think you can match. For every correct answer, another £200 is added to your prize fund. The range of questions reflects their varied interests and knowledge. And once a think tank has asked both of their questions, they can't be picked again. Rena, you get to go first. The whole bunch to choose from. With whom do you want to form a knowledge alliance?
So I'm going to go with Jordan, please.
Our makeup artist, Jordan.
This is a Disney question. Which 1940 Disney film features animated sequences set to classical music and includes Mickey Mouse as the Sorcerer's Apprentice?
The Disney film featuring classical music with Mickey Mouse as the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Disney's not a strong point. 1940 as well is quite far back. A wild guess, Mickey in the Clubhouse.
Mickey in the Clubhouse?
I'm afraid it's not. It's Fantasia.
Fantasia.
Okay. Never heard of it.
It includes music by Bach, Beethoven and Tchaikovsky, among others. OK. Nothing for you there, Rena, I'm afraid. Yvonne, you're up next, and you can still choose any one of the 8.
OK, I think I'm going to choose Lucy with the Love of Dancing.
Well, as you know, I teach dance, but my dance school breaks each summer, and each summer I like to take up a random hobby. And one thing that I got particularly obsessed with was 10-pin bowling. So I know the answer to this, and if you've been bowling, hopefully you will too.
Okay.
In 10-pin bowling, which term refers to knocking down all of the pins with the first ball?
The term referring to knocking down all the pins with the first ball at 10-pin bowling.
I have played 10-pin bowling, and I've not had many of those, so I know what they're called because everybody else gets them. I think it's called a strike.
A strike?
Struck it lucky. Well done. Very good.
Well, apart from taking dancing lessons, you should take 10-pin bowling lessons from Lucy because you had a perfect game once,
I
didn't
did,
you?
yes. Only once.
You only need one.
Only need one. And then once I figured I'd done that, I was like, OK, I'm over bowling now. That was it. I've done that.
OK. £200 for you, Yvonne. And Andy, we come to you and the entire think tank to choose from.
I think I'm going to choose Anisha because I think she's into music and hopefully it'll be some old music that I know about.
Our office assistant, Anisha.
Hi, Andy.
Hi.
It's not about music at all. It's actually about Cockney rhyming slang. And I remember being in year 8 and we learned about it, and this was the only one that stuck in my head. So the question is, which type of food is a Cockney rhyming slang for lie?
The Cockney rhyming slang for lie.
Is it pork pie?
Pork pie?
It is pork pie. Well done, Andy.
Cherry pie, also occasionally used, but telling porkies people say now, don't they?
Indeed, yes.
Your question was about Cockney rhyming slang. London, is that where you're from?
Well, I'm from Essex. I do say I'm a Londoner, but really I'm not.
Oh, you're a Greater Londoner, maybe.
Greater London, exactly.
There you go. All right, thank you. £200 then, Andy, for your running total. We come back to you, Rena, and you can still choose anyone.
I'll go for my fellow Londoner, not Londoner, Anisha.
I'm really happy you chose me, Rena, because I think we're of the same age, so you'll definitely know this. This is a music-related question. Which pop singer changed her image with the 2002 single Dirty?
Which pop singer changed her image with the 2002 single Dirty?
I think the answer to that is Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera?
Indeed it is. Well done.
Deliberately misspelt the word dirty, did she?
Dirty.
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 Yeah.
Rena, £200 for you.
Thank you.
Yvonne, anyone but Anisha?
I think I'm going to ask Ken because of his experience with travel.
Ken, of course, our retired holiday rep.
Well, I think you'll get this one. This lady was one of my favourites who sadly passed away fairly recently. What was Cilla Black's original surname?
Cilla Black's original surname?
Well, what's really nice, I think I do know this one, so I'm really happy about this. And it's the opposite to what her stage name was, so I'm going to go straight in for White.
White.
Yes, correct answer.
Thank you.
Cilla Black, originally Priscilla White, had #1 hits in the UK with Anyone Who Had a Heart and You're My World. Well remembered.
Loved it.
£200 for you, Yvonne. And Andy, we come to you. Anisha's ruled out, but you can still choose anyone else.
In the hope of having a music question, I'm going to try Cleve.
You might be glad you asked me this because you're a bit of a film man as well.
Yeah.
This is to do with, not directly to do with music, but musical film. The first names of the Blues Brothers in the 1980 film are Jake and who else?
First names of the Blues Brothers in the 1980 film. Jake and who?
It's one of my favourite films, been my top 20. And he's played by Dan Aykroyd. It's Elwood, Jake and Elwood.
Elwood?
Put it at the top of the top 20. It's Jake and Elwood, that's right.
It was indeed played by Dan Aykroyd, and his brother Jake was played by John Belushi. OK. £200 for you, Andy. Rena, back to you. Still 7 of the 8, just not Anisha.
I think I'll take a go with Len, please.
Right, well, I haven't had much luck in the other rounds, but I know I got this one right anyway. What is the word for a young goose?
The word for a young goose?
I've been reading stories with my little niece, and unfortunately, this isn't one of the ones that I've read. I know The Duck and the Duckling. Gooseling?
So you're going with gooseling?
Yeah.
Gooseling, Len?
Gosling, I'm sorry.
Gosling. Sorry, has to be Gosling, not gooseling. Just 1 O too many for you there. And the males are called ganders.
Yes.
OK. So nothing for you there, Rena. Yvonne, we come to you, and still almost everybody to choose from, just not Anisha.
I'm sorry, I'm going for Len as well, but that's because of his Welsh background.
Don't be sorry you're going for Len.
It's going to bring me some luck.
Oh, I'm sure you'll get this one now. Which nation was the official host of the 2015 Rugby Union World Cup?
The official host of the 2015 Rugby Union World Cup, which nation?
It was UK, wasn't it? I believe. I'm going to get this wrong now. I'm going to say it was in England, wasn't it?
Your answer?
England. UK.
UK, you're saying?
Yes, UK.
The UK, Len?
Should have stuck with England.
Well, isn't it the same?
I'm really sorry, Yvonne. You said UK, but it had to be more specific, England. And you sort of danced across it, but you plumped for the wrong one.
I went for the whole country rather than part of the country.
Indeed. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Nothing for you there. Andy, we come to you. Anisha and Len now ruled out.
OK. I'm going to go for Jordan just because I don't know what Jordan knows, but we'll find out.
Well, I do love films, but unfortunately it isn't a film question.
Okay.
Hopefully you may have come across the odd fashion magazine in your time. So the question is, the London-born journalist Anna Wintour became the editor-in-chief of which American fashion magazine in 1988?
Well, I don't need to narrow it down because I can only think of one. It's not my knowledge, this. Vogue.
Vogue?
It's lucky you have been reading fashion magazines. It is Vogue.
And it's OK to admit it. It's fine. You know, lots of us read fashion magazines. You might know this. In the film The Devil Wears Prada, the character Miranda Priestley is often said to be loosely based on Anna Wintour.
Yeah, I've not seen that, but...
Be in the top 100 in the year it came out. Not for you, though. OK. £200 for you, Andy. Well done. And that brings us to the end of the round, so let's see how your prize funds have changed. Rena is on £600, in the lead, and tied on £800, Yvonne and Andy. You chose 3 questions each, but you didn't choose to hear from Armanel and Mark. We don't want them to feel left out or to show off their good knowledge. So how about we get Mark to ask his question? Mark?
My question is, which plant is considered to be the national emblem of Scotland?
So just for fun, and you might know this one at home, which plant is considered to be the national emblem of Scotland? Any thoughts?
Not entirely sure.
Very prickly question, that one, I think. Yes. Thistle.
Absolutely, the thistle.
Well done. Thanks, Mark, for sharing that with us, and let's get back to the competition. Well, one of you is going to have to leave the game shortly, but there is still a chance for any of you to take the lead, and Rena, you can still catch up. All of you will now be asked the same question. 2 members of the think tank will then give you the answer that they gave before the show and their reason for doing so. Only one of them will have the right answer, side with the correct person. £200 is added to your prize fund. Just 5 questions remain, though, before we do have to say goodbye to one of you, so choose your answers carefully, OK? Here's the first question. According to a 2014 poll by the cooperative Food, what is the UK's favourite breakfast? Answers coming up from Armanel and Jordan. Armanel?
I rejected the idea of a full English because it's too time-consuming, and in this day and age we need something that's easier to deal with and also that is possibly puts on a few fewer calories. So I decided it was coffee and a croissant, which is my favourite breakfast.
Jordan?
Well, I actually thought the opposite. I sort of decided if I was voting for my favourite of something, I wouldn't necessarily be thinking of convenience or what I would generally have, which would be cereal or toast. I thought, what's a really indulgent breakfast? So I thought it would actually be the full English.
All right, Armanel is saying coffee and croissant. Jordan thinks it's a full English. What are you going to plump for? Lock in your answers, please. And let's see which dish you've chosen. So Rena's gone for coffee and croissant. Yvonne and Andy have chosen the full English. Who's right? It's the full English. So not quite the right answer, Armanel, as healthy and tasty as it might be. Bacon sandwich came second, tea and toast third, porridge fourth. Well done to Yvonne and Andy, £200 for you. So here we come with our next question. Which Premier League football club suffered their first relegation for 29 years in 2016? Ken and Cleve having a go at this. Ken?
I found this difficult because I'm not a great football fan, but as a child I used to go to Newcastle every year, and I believe thinking how sad it was that they were relegated. So my team would be Newcastle United.
Cleve?
Whereas I agreed to a degree with my esteemed colleague, Aston Villa are one of the few clubs that have been in the Premier League and not been relegated at all up to this point, including time in the old First Division. So I'm pretty sure they've been flirting with danger for a couple of years, but I'm pretty sure it was Aston Villa.
OK. Ken says Newcastle United. Cleve says it's Aston Villa. Contestants, make your choice, please. Which team have you come up with? All three of you say it was Aston Villa. Are you right? Absolutely, Aston Villa it is. Not only did they get relegated, Aston Villa also sacked 2 managers in the season, Tim Sherwood and René Gard. And Ken, actually, you're right in a sense. Newcastle were relegated, but not for the first time in 29 years.
Right.
So that was the difference. OK. So, £200 to all of you, and we come to question number 3. Which tree of the genus Quercus is said to be the most common native tree species in the UK? Lucy and Len to have a go at this one. Lucy?
Well, I'd like to say that I had some kind of Latin knowledge which led me to my answer, but sadly I don't. I was thinking of common iconic trees that you might associate with Britain, and for me that would be the oak. And I felt that perhaps the reason for that was because it's, you know, very prolific across the UK. So I went with oak.
Len?
Well, I think you've got it totally wrong there, because my answer is the ash tree. And the reason for that is the ash tree, the actual seeds are airborne, so they spread far and wide. And whenever you see a barren piece of land start to regenerate, you'll see these long, long shoots start to appear. And they're generally, 9 times out of 10, they're ash trees. And my answer is ash.
OK, Lucy says it's the oak. Len says it's the ash. Contestants, please lock in your answers. Rena and Yvonne say it's the oak. Andy's gone with the ash. Who's right? It's the oak. Well done to Rena and Yvonne. £200 for you. Andy, you stay as you were. And we move on to question number 4. Which US rock band formed in the 1980s had 18 UK top 10 singles, but no number 1s? Armanel and Mark. Armanel.
Well, I am by no means a music expert. I do know that Bon Jovi is a US rock band. I do know that that's round about the right time. I do know that they're popular, but they're not hugely well known. So I thought, well, no number 1s, but lots in the top 10, but not necessarily number 1.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, I went for Guns N' Roses. Again, I'm pretty sure they were formed in the 1980s. I think they did have about 4 or 5 reasonably successful albums, which probably would generate around about the 18 UK top 10 singles. And also, there's quite a few famous songs, really good songs that went to number 2 and were kept off by, let's say, rather dubious songs. And I think Guns N' Roses may be in that bracket.
OK, Armanel says Bon Jovi. Mark's chosen Guns N' Roses. The choice is yours now, contestants. Please lock them in. Which band have you gone with? You've all gone for Guns N' Roses. Are you right? It was Bon Jovi.
Oh. How?
Brilliantly done, Armanel, because you just worked it out. And that's one of the great things about being in the think tank. You may not know it automatically, but you can get there through a series of steps. So, wonderful. Thank you. Guns N' Roses actually had 12 UK top 10 singles. So, nothing for any of you there. And we come to the final question in this round. Which is the world's hottest continent? Answers from Anisha and Len. Anisha.
So I went with Australasia, and the reason being is I have a friend who immigrated over to Australia a few years ago, and when she came back to visit, she said it was really weird putting on like just normal moisturiser, and I was like, well, why is that? She's like, because when you're in Australia, all she puts on is sunblock because basically they have a hole in their ozone. So I was like, well, it's got to be pretty hot. So I went with Australasia.
Len?
Well, I've gone for Africa. Because one, you've got the Sahara Desert, which is the largest desert in the world. And for many, many years, they've always had droughts there, whatever. So it's a barren place. A lot of places are barren places there. And I think it's Africa.
OK, Anisha says Australasia. Len's picked Africa. What is your choice, contestants? All three of you have gone for Africa. Let's see if you're right. Africa it is. Well done. The hottest average temperature in the world was recorded in Ethiopia, 33.9 degrees centigrade as an average. Wow. Yeah, across the year. £200 to all of you. Well done. That brings us to the end of the main game. Let's take a look at your totals. Yvonne is in the lead with £1,600, followed by Andy with £1,400. Trailing behind with £1,200 is Rena, so sadly we have to say goodbye to you, Rena. But that £1,200 is a very good score. You're up against very good competition today. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Have you enjoyed being with us?
It's been brilliant, thank you.
Well, thanks very much. Well done, Yvonne and Andy. You two will now compete to take home the money you've earned in the final. Yvonne, if you win today, what would you like to do with your prize?
I will put some towards going on a cruise down the Amazon, because I've always liked the idea of going to see all the animals, etc. And the other would be to have some private lessons to learn to do the Argentine tango and dance with you, Bill.
The Argentine tango?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Who's going to give you the private lessons?
Well, maybe Lucy will.
Well, I say.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah, I need lessons for the Argentine tango as well. I have to tell you. Andy, what would you do with your winnings?
Well, all my children are growing up now. The youngest is 15, the eldest is 22.
22? You don't look old enough to have...
I'm double that age.
Are you really?
44, yeah. Wow. So it'd be nice to take them on one last, family holiday before they've all got families of their own. So I'd like to do that. For myself, I'd like to buy a vinyl record player, start buying all the vinyl again.
Fantastic. Well, look, good luck to you both. Our final is a general knowledge battle. I'm going to ask you 5 questions each. Whoever gives the most correct answers takes home the money they've built up so far. Not on your own, though, because the think tank is still here to lend you a hand if they can. You can choose someone to consult with before you tackle a question. Each member, though, can only be picked once this time. And the difference in the final compared to the rest of the show is that they have not seen any of these questions before, OK? Let's play the final, then. Yvonne, you built up the most money in the game, so we start the final with you. Here's your first question. Pass Out and Written in the Stars are UK hit singles for which musical artist? Who would you like to go with on that one?
Well, I certainly have no idea myself. My grandchildren aren't old enough yet to teach me all this music, so I'm going to go with Cleve, please, to help me out.
Cleve.
I should know this, and I can see the young man, but his name has just escaped my head for a little bit. He's got one of those names that those young people have, you know.
Do you know what he looks like? You said you can see him. Describe him then.
He's got some big glasses. Sometimes he wears them.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
No idea.
I am so.
I say Joe Black.
Joe Black?
Yes.
That's
That's
really
okay,
sorry
Cleve.
about to say, but
I had no idea
I'm going to
myself.
kick myself with this one because I know I've seen it and I've listened to him.
Joe Black.
Joe Black is your answer. Pass Out and Written in the Stars, UK hit singles for which musical artist? You're saying Joe Black. Who is it? Tiny Temper. You are kicking yourself, aren't you?
I just couldn't get his name.
That's fine.
It was not like a proper name. It's not like a proper name like Elvis, is it?
Tiny Temper. His real name is Patrick Okogwu.
Right.
So, sorry, Yvonne. Andy, your chance to move off with your first question. In 1911, Roald Amundsen became the first man to reach which destination? Who could help you here?
I don't know the answer, but I'm trying to think who might be able to help. For some reason, I'm going to ask Mark to help me. I have a feeling he's well-travelled.
I think there was a big race to the South Pole on here between a Norwegian team and Scott of the Antarctic.
Right.
And I think Scott of the Antarctic came up a little bit short. And I'm pretty sure that he was the first person to reach the South Pole.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'll go for South Pole.
South Pole's your answer. In 1911, Roald Amundsen became the first man to reach which destination? You're saying South Pole. Are you in the right place? South Pole it is. Well done. And as Mark correctly pointed out, he got there shortly before Captain Scott's ill-fated expedition. So 1-0 to you, Andy. Yvonne, here's your second question. Which Irish former owner of a Formula One team became a Top Gear presenter in 2016? Who can help you here?
I think Glenn can help me out here, please. Do you know anything about Formula One?
Not a great deal.
No.
Eddie, I can't think of his name. I guess the guy, I can see the guy with a beard now, I think it is. Think now, Glenn, think.
I'm not a Formula One fan, and I've never watched Top Gear either, so.
I'm struggling with this one now, I think.
We'll say Leary O'Connell.
Leary O'Connell. Which Irish former owner of a Formula One team became a Top Gear presenter in 2016? Your answer, Yvonne, is Leary O'Connell. Let's see if you're right. Eddie Jordan.
I could see him.
Eddie Jordan, you could see him and you had his first name, just couldn't quite get there. He ran the Jordan racing team from 1991 to 2005. So,
All right.
another wrong answer for you, Yvonne. Andy,
Yes.
here's your second question. With whom did Ricky Gervais write the sitcoms The Office and Extras? A TV question for you. Who would
Okay.
you like to go with here?
I'm going to pick Lucy.
Lucy.
Yes, people keep coming to me for TV, but I only owned one since the last 8 months. Now, I am familiar with The Office, but not specifically writers of.
I do know the answer.
Oh,
I do.
hooray! I feel absolved.
He's got something in common with you. He's very tall.
Yeah.
It's Stephen Merchant.
Stephen Merchant's your answer?
Yeah.
With whom did Ricky Gervais write the sitcoms The Office and Extras? Stephen Merchant, you say. Let's see if you're right. It is Stephen Merchant. Well done. Stephen Merchant also had a role in The Office and in Extras as well. Very funny guy. OK. So 2-0 to Andy. Yvonne, you've got a bit of catching up to do, but you can still do it. Here's your third question. Which famous statue created by Anthony Gormley stands at the head of the Team Valley in the northeast of England? Half of the think tank left to choose from. Armanel, Anisha, Jordan or Ken?
I was going to go for Armanel, please.
Armanel.
Excellent. Do you know the answer?
Well, I can see it in front
Yes.
of me. I've seen it. I think it's Angel of the North, but
I think it's Angel of the North
yes,
as well.
yes.
I mean, Angel of the North is certainly by Anthony Gormley.
Yes.
It is certainly up north.
We'll go for Angel of the North, please.
Angel of the North. Which
Yes.
famous statue created by Anthony Gormley stands at the head of the Team Valley in the northeast of England? Your answer is Angel of the North.
Yes.
Have you chosen correctly? You have. Angel of the North it is. Well done. And it is, of course, as you described. Angelic figure with arms outstretched. Very impressive it is too. OK, you're off the mark, Yvonne. 2-1 to you still, Andy. Here's your third question. Which famous singer, born on September the 4th, 1981, has a sister named Solange? Anisha, Jordan or Ken?
I'm going to ask Jordan.
I'm really glad that you asked me because I actually do know the answer.
Do you? Oh.
Yeah. Do you have any idea?
I don't. I should know from around that era, but I can't. I just can't think. Solange.
Well, Solange's sister is the ultimate diva and icon for modern women, I believe. And it is Beyonce.
Thank you. I'll go for Beyonce.
Beyonce. Which famous singer, born on September the 4th, 1981, has a sister named Solange? You're saying it's Beyonce?
Yeah.
Let's see if you're right. It is Beyonce. Well done. 3-1 to Andy, which means, Yvonne, that you have to get this one right to stay in the competition. OK? Here it is, then. Which man does Jesse Eisenberg play in the 2010 film The Social Network? Anisha or Ken to help you?
Anisha, I think I might go with you.
Okay.
I'm hoping you have some information on this because I have very little.
I'm going to have to dig deep because basically The Social Network is about the guy who made Facebook.
Right.
So, do you know the guy who... Mark Zuckerberg. Just say it. Just say it. Mark Zuckerberg before it goes.
Say it again.
Mark Zuckerberg. Basically, have you seen the film?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's about Facebook.
My son didn't direct that one. I haven't.
It's about Facebook. So Mark Zuckerberg is the founder and creator of Facebook, and Jesse plays him.
Well, I say Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg is your answer.
Yes.
Which man does Jesse Eisenberg play in the 2010 film The Social Network? Your answer is Mark Zuckerberg, and this is to stay in
Yes.
the competition.
Yes.
If you're wrong, then Andy will be our winner today. Well, the answer is, in fact, Mark Zuckerberg, not Zuckerberg. But our adjudicator has had a look at it and has decided it's close enough. So I'll give it to you. Close. So off the post and in, I think we call that. OK. All right. So, Andy, still 3-2 to you. If you get this question right, you will be the winner today. Which city in the northwest of France hosts an annual 24-hour car race first held in 1923? Just Ken to help you here.
OK. I'll choose Ken then.
Well, I think it's got to be Le Mans.
Le Mans, yeah. Perfect, thank you. I'll go for Le Mans.
You go into that very quickly. Yeah. Le Mans. Which city in the northwest of France hosts an annual 24-hour car race first held in 1923? This to win today's competition. You're saying it's Le Mans. Let's see if you're right. Le Mans it is. Congratulations, Andy. You are today's winner. Well done. And in a typical Le Mans race, the cars these days travel an average of about 3,000 miles. So they go a long way indeed. Well, Yvonne, you came a long way. Just didn't quite make the full distance, I'm afraid. Well played, though. Not taking anything home, apart from the magnificent memory of being alongside these guys for a little while. Andy, as our winner, you will definitely be taking home your prize of £1,400 and you'll shortly have the chance to add an extra £1,000 to your winnings. First, though, shall we take a moment to congratulate the think tanker who gave the most correct answers during the show? Who could it possibly be? It's Armanel. Well done.
Well done. Well done.
Textbook participation today. Well done. Andy, you have one last chance now, seriously, to boost your prize as you face our question impossible. Andy, well done. Pretty straightforward for you, wasn't it? 4 questions, 4 correct answers. Yeah. Well done. This is the toughest question of the whole show now, though, because no one in the think tank got it right earlier. So if you can achieve what none of them could and give us the correct answer, that extra £1,000 will be yours, OK? Let's take a look, then, at your question impossible. The okapi, unknown to science until the early 20th century, is most closely related to which other African mammal? Have a think about that, and we'll give you a little bit of assistance because we'll take a look at the wrong answers that the think tank gave earlier, and this might help you rule a few things out, OK? So here's what they came up with. Zebra, rhino, elephant, antelope, camel, and buffalo. None of those. So what do you think it could be?
Right. So I might have thought zebra, actually, because I seem to remember I used to have some animal cards when I was a kid, and the okapi was on it. I'm sure it was mentioned. I'm sure it was. So I think it is a horse-type creature, but that's not an African mammal. And but the other thing I'm thinking of is anteater, and I don't even know if an anteater's from Africa. But I'm going to go for anteater because I haven't done anything else.
Anteater. OK, anteater is your answer. The okapi, unknown to science until the early 20th century, is most closely related to which other African mammal? So, this is for an extra £1,000, which would bring your prize fund to £2,400. You're saying anteater. Let's see if you're right. Giraffe is the answer. Giraffe. Yeah. Did you have that on any of your cards when you were young?
Yeah, we had giraffes, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Still, you've won £1,400, and so that'll pay for holiday for the children taken away?
Yeah,
OK,
on the
good.
vinyl.
Excellent. Perhaps not the vinyl as well, you never know. OK. Well, thanks very much for joining us, and well played, Andy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Do join us next time when 3 more contestants will see whether they can bank on the think tank. Until then, it's goodbye from them.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Bye-bye.
So could the wedding video be the key to unlocking our mystery thriller One of Us? Plenty more twists and turns in the tense final part tonight at 9. Up next, a nice garden is high on the wish list for today's couple on escape to the country. They're house hunting in Somerset.